Hey, Rob from Order 42 here, and we had quite a weekend. We had the I guess the release of Raya and the Last Dragon, Raya, whatever it is. We had Paramount Plus coming online. Making a splash, and then we had the WandaVision season series finale. Yeah, it was quite a weekend, and I got to say, this feels like the calm before the storm because this March it's just going to be nuts. I mean, we've got in a couple of weeks, just 2 weeks, we've got the Falcon and Winter Soldier premiere. There's going to be 6 episodes of that. The day before that, we've got the Snyder Cut. Yes, that's right. Finally, Justice League. We're going to get to see this 4-hour extravaganza. And then at the end of the month, March 31st, Godzilla vs. Kong. So it's going to get interesting. It's going to get real interesting. So if you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe. There's going to be a lot to talk about. Trust me. But yeah, for now, let's get into the news. Now, this news broke last week as I was putting out my News of the Week episode. So yeah, I was like, I guess we'll talk about this on this show. Yeah, Indira Varma has been added to the cast of Obi-Wan on Disney Plus. I'm very excited, of course. I mean, who wouldn't be excited about an Obi-Wan series? But anyway, Indira Varma, she's the first time I saw her was in Rome, if I remember correctly. That was, 15, 16 years ago on HBO. A really good series, by the way, if you haven't seen that. I would highly recommend that. But anyway, she showed up in Game of Thrones as Pedro Pascal's wife. And Alaria Sand was her name, and was the character name in that show. And yeah, there's something about her. There's something about her look, the way that she carries herself, the way that she delivers her lines. There's a charisma there. So I'm really, really interested to see, is she going to be a villain in the show? Is she going to be, someone that befriends Obi-Wan? We don't really know yet. There's no details around what the story is really going to be like, but I'm very, very excited. Of course, there was that Kenobi book that was released maybe a year, 2 years prior to Disney acquiring Lucasfilm, which is now a legend story, but it was a really, really cool story about Obi-Wan being on Tatooine in between episodes 3 and 4. What does he do? What adventures does he get into? And of course, he befriends this local bar owner, a female bar owner, and she gets into a lot of trouble. He wants to help, but he doesn't want to use his Jedi powers. So he's got to really hide everything and try to, do what he can to help, but without showing off that he's a Jedi. So it was a really, really interesting story. It was very, much like a Western. So it'd be interesting to see if that's that's kind of what they're going to be going for. We don't know. All I know is I'm super excited. Bring it on. Now, this was some interesting news. Yeah, Steven Spielberg and the Duffer brothers are teaming up to develop the Talisman for Netflix. Wow. I mean, this is a really, really interesting news. The Talisman is one of those Stephen King books that I never read, and I think it's because it was Stephen King and Peter Straub that did this novel sort of together, and it's just something I never read. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to go. And Steven Spielberg apparently has had the rights to the Talisman for many, many years, and just never could get it off the ground. So the idea that you've got the makers of Stranger Things gonna do a Stephen King / Peter Straub novel with Steven Spielberg involved, I mean, it sounds interesting. And the storyline is like this. So 12-year-old boy named Jack Sawyer, who sets off on an epic road trip quest in order to save his dying mother's life. He is in search of the Talisman, a powerful relic that can not only heal his mother, but as he learns, save the world. Sawyer's journey crisscrosses two realities, the America we know and its dangerous fantasy world twin, the Territories. So yeah, I mean, it sounds interesting. It almost sounds very Dark Tower in a lot of ways. But yeah, I'm really, really interested in this. Of course, anytime the Duffer brothers are involved, when you hear those names, and you remember Stranger Things and what it's done for, I guess, almost the retro scene and all of that. I mean, this is exciting news, and with Steven Spielberg involved too. I mean, look, let's be honest. Steven Spielberg has put his name on some things that maybe haven't worked out, but you kind of hope for that, I guess the glory days, when he was involved with Poltergeist and Gremlins and all of these projects that ended up being classics, Goonies even. So yeah, I'm really, really interested to see where this goes. So I think this one kind of flew under a lot of people's radar. A Quiet Place 2 has quietly, it's been moved up to May. So this was supposed to be released on September 17th. Now it's been moved to May 28th. And this was one of those movies that was right on the cusp of being released as all the lockdowns happened, right? So this was like toward the end of March last year is when this movie was supposed to be released. And to me, A Quiet Place 1, I guess, was an interesting movie because I guess a lot of people didn't expect a whole lot out of it. And when they finished the movie and was like, yeah, that was very competently done. It was very well done. Krasinski did a great job with directing. I mean, yeah, I think people were very, very surprised. And it ended in a way that made me think, yeah, that was good. That was good. Didn't expect a sequel. So I'm really kind of interested to see how this one, when it finally does get released, if people are still interested in it. Is it something that people are going to respond to? And, this actually kind of leads into our, I guess you'd say it's the main topic of the show today. And that is Paramount Plus. And as you know, as we talked about last week, if you watched that episode, if not, check it out. I mean, there's some interesting news in there. Paramount Plus, the way that they're going to be doing things is that there's going to be a 45-day window from when they release a movie in theaters to when it will be on Paramount Plus. So, yeah, Quiet Place 2, as it's coming out on May 28th, that means that sometime in mid-July, you'll be able to watch it on Paramount Plus. Now, the weird thing was, I guess you could say, talked a little crap, I guess, about Paramount Plus. Wasn't too interested in it. There's definitely some interesting things on the horizon. A lot of big shows that they're planning. I just wasn't too excited. But when I heard that they were doing basically 50% off for the year subscription, if you signed up by I think the 3rd. Yeah, I told my wife about it and she said, yeah, let's do it. So, and it's probably because she was already, in the middle of watching Picard, decided to cancel it and never went back. But she's really interested in catching up on that. I'm interested in what's coming out. So, of course, yeah, I took it for a test drive when Paramount Plus launched. And I have to say, it's not great. It's not a great service. I mean, so far, I'm not too impressed. So I think the weird thing about Paramount Plus really is that there's no watch list. Like, why? Why is there not a way to queue up TV shows and movies that you want to watch? I mean, that's like, I don't know about you, but for me, that's like the number one thing, right? That's what I like to do. I like to be able to go through and go, okay, I've gone through all the stuff. I added all. I got what I want. This is what I'm queuing up to watch. And then when it's time to sit down and watch something, you go, okay, so what have I added? Oh, yeah, I'll watch this movie now. I don't understand why that's not a thing. And that's something that to me needs to be added immediately. That has to be something. Other than that, the UI is just clunky. And it's sort of, I just don't like the way things are organized. It just doesn't, I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. Right? I mean, I think of all of the streaming services that I've tried, it's probably my least favorite. At least, UI wise on the on the Apple TV. It just, the way everything is laid out is just nah. It's just not, I don't know. It's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of movies. If you want to watch Tommy Boy, you can watch Tommy Boy. Yeah, but it's not done in a way that, I don't know. There's something about it. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Rob, you already told us that Paramount Plus is your least favorite. It's got the worst user interface. It's got the worst features. Which one is your favorite, Rob? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what my favorite is, and that's HBO Max. And that's really kind of surprising to me. when you take Paramount Plus off the table, HBO Max is the newest one. And yet, to me, they have the most interesting way of laying out their content. And they have a watch list, but they have a coming soon, they have a just added, and they have a leaving soon. Which, in a way, you can't really count that against something like Disney Plus, because all they're doing is adding content, right? There's nothing leaving. But they have, they own all the content, so there's no worries there, right? But HBO Max, they do license some things, and they've licensed a lot of their content to other providers. So that's why, for example, the Batman movies, sometimes you'll see them over on Amazon, sometimes you'll see them over on Netflix, sometimes, and now, like, I think this month, a lot of the Batman movies are back on HBO Max. The Harry Potter movies were the same way. It launched with the Harry Potter movies, and then like a month and a half later, they left to go somewhere else. So it's just one of those things. It's part of the licensing thing. Disney Plus doesn't have to worry about that. So yeah, they don't have to worry about a leaving soon. But I really wish that Netflix and Amazon had it. But it would also be kind of a pain to keep track of. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to justwatch.com. It's a website. It's in the description. It's in the description down below. I'm not paid to promote it. I'm just a fan of it. I just like it because it's a great way of being able to search for a specific title, and you can see exactly where it's streaming or how much it is to rent at all these different retailers online, or to buy it. I mean, it's all there in one place. It's really kind of nice, because there's a lot of times when I'm like, I think I want to buy this movie, and then I go, well, you know what? I kind of just want to watch it. And then I go search for it, and I'm like, oh, it's on Netflix right now. Okay, cool. And you just go to Netflix and watch it. It's a really, really, helpful website. But what they have is one of the main sections there is the news section. And it shows you basically by day which streaming services have which movies added that day. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but Amazon and Netflix, both of them, there's some days when it's like 300 or 400 titles, and you're just like, what? There's so much stuff on there. So yeah, the idea of them, Netflix or Amazon, adding a just added or leaving soon and all that kind of stuff, it'd probably be really difficult to navigate because there's just so much content. But maybe that's the thing, right? I mean, I really believe that Amazon and Netflix, to a certain extent, look, this might make some people mad, but a lot of it's quantity over quality, right? And I think that's my biggest issue with those two services in general. That's what I loved about HBO Max so far, is that they are adding great stuff every single month. There's great stuff that's coming on HBO. Of course, I don't have HBO anymore. I don't have a cable cable subscription or anything like that. It's just I have HBO Max. I have Hulu. Oh, actually, I don't have Hulu now. But Disney Plus, I have, and now Paramount Plus. And I'm kind of like, Paramount Plus is the one where I'm like, I don't care. But at the same time, it was a fairly good price for the whole year. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, hopefully something will come on there that I'm interested in. Luckily, my wife is really interested in a lot of the stuff on there. So yeah, it's a good thing. But yeah, it's such a weird time because, this whole idea of us cutting the cord, it really hasn't saved a lot of people that much money, because they're once you add them all up, and of course, I keep forgetting this, but we have YouTube Premium as well. And the YouTube Premium is for a family plan, right? And with the family plan, all of the people on your family plan they don't have to watch commercials. So I don't watch ads anymore on YouTube. Just don't, because they don't come up. And I got to say, once you do that, it is hard to go back, but that's $22.99 a month. I keep forgetting about that one, but that's a big part of our expenditures as far as like for entertainment stuff. So you've got YouTube, you've got Netflix, you've got HBO Max, Disney Plus, and now Paramount Plus. For us, I mean, that's quite a bit of money, and that's almost as much as a cable bill. So it's such a weird time, and I feel like we're going to see more and more people try to do the month per month type thing. And I think a lot of the companies like Paramount Plus, they're not going to want to do a monthly thing. You're going to sign up for an annual or nothing. And that's kind of a bummer, and it's going to be really hard for some people to figure out which one they want to get. And I understand it, because it's the splintering of content that we kind of knew was going to happen, and it's what the cable companies, that's what they did for many, many years. That it's like, well, there's this really, really good channel that people really, really love. Let's splinter that off and charge a premium for that. But then we'll give you this huge package of content, a bunch of channels, and you go, oh, wow, what a deal. You're getting 150 channels, and you watch maybe 3 of them. It's such a weird thing, and I feel like we're getting right back into that, except without a cable company involved. So yeah, I guess that about does it for the news today. I mean, we had some Obi-Wan news. We had the Talisman being adapted. I mean, that's kind of an interesting thing. We had Quiet Place 2 getting moved up, and Paramount Plus. Yay! So seriously, this is a question that I want to ask you. What do you subscribe to? What are the if you've gotten rid of cable, or if you still have cable, let me know what you subscribe to. I'm kind of curious how people are choosing their content. Is it based on just a specific show? Is it based on, a set of movies? I'm kind of curious what everybody's enjoying. So yeah. Well, I will just say thank you very much for watching. It's something I don't really say enough. I feel like everybody has so many different choices out there. So many different choices of shows to watch, of movies to watch. There's all this stuff. There's all this content to take in. So thank you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. This one kind of flew under a lot of people's radars. Yeah, A Quiet Place 2, delivery was interesting.